Hey, you guys, we have Katie, our astrologer. Yay! Give it up for Katie. Okay, so don't forget, please, to follow Katie's kitchen table Dharma on Facebook.
Yeah.
And the link to Katie's blog is in the description box all the time. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Rump'S demise slash removal. We're going to talk about some of the USA alignments now. And we are going to talk a little bit about the Iran stuff. Okay? So have at it, Miss Katie.
Hi. Thanks for having me again. This
Thanks
is
for showing up.
so much fun. Um, so I guess I want to say to people the first thing that I said to you about the message that where I was preparing for this, saying what do people really need to focus on now, and that I can say. And I the message was Earth is beginning to change toward the light. Those who support the darkness are falling. So that split that we've been waiting for has already happened, and there are two worlds forming, and we are hoping that it's more peaceful than it's been in terms of that transition. Okay, so should I start with the US chart?
Sure.
All right. So right now we've had that everybody knows about the Saturn Neptune conjunction in early Aries. One of the things that I want to point out that could be noticed about this, when we see these big conjunctions, especially people who don't know much about astrology, seem to think it's going to be something that it turns out not to be. So that it's kind of like we can't look at it and say, oh, this is what is going to happen. But we can see the threads of how it is happening. That Saturn is the hidebound, this is the way it is planet, and Neptune is like, oh, but look, we could all be butterflies and it could be wonderful. Or it's also the con planet, the con artist planet, and the fraud planet. So there's all of this stuff about the fraud that is coming up, and we see this now. I mean, it's kind of like exploding. It's a long transit. This is going to be a long process. The Epstein files aren't going to be out quickly. All of this is drip, 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 erosion, trying to hold ground, then erosion. So there's this interplay back and forth with these planets for a while. But it is movement forward because it is in Aries. And in Pisces, where Neptune has been for 12 years, there's been a lot of laziness, which, Neptune, those of us who have a strong Neptune on our charts understand that Neptune can make you just want to go lie down with some hot chocolate and popcorn and a movie. Um, the Pluto transit into Aquarius is really close now to the United States South Node, which is the South Node is, I know you don't like the word karma, but I'll just, the karma, to me, karma, well, my education about this means mind, what you're thinking. It's what we think about, what we create with our minds, how that comes back.
So the energy of thought.
Yeah, it's kind of like what goes around comes around is the simple way of doing it, but it is what we create here in this world. It's not like a universal forever principle. It's incarnation, and we come back with various things. But the South Node is very much about spiritual growth. It's what we have to let go of. And as Pluto, which is about complete destruction and rebuilding, um, it's kind of like, when Trump took down the East Wing because he felt like it. Like, people wake up and the East Wing is gone. Pluto's like that. And what this means is that there is no more time to hold on to old ideas about who we are, the American dream, who we thought we were. It's all being swept away. And it will be easier for people to move with this, to, as things come up, not spend a lot of time hanging out in grief about what we've lost, because what we've lost had died was time. We create something new now. And lean into that, because as the collective leans into the rebuilding, the reimagining of a more attuned existence, it moves faster. It has been said by various spiritual leaders who are not in the Epstein files that Kali Yuga, which is this long period of darkness that the Earth has been in, coming to an end, but it moves faster as people move faster, because we are the ones who are creating it and experiencing it. It's not like the planets do this to us. They present us with the tools and the opportunities. So here we are in the middle of a drowning process, and we're being thrown lifeboats, we're being thrown flotation devices. And for people who are saying, well, this is the wrong color, or I don't like that one, I want that one, take what you get, really, is what's coming up with that. So Uranus has gone into Gemini, and many other astrologers have already said this, but in case nobody's heard it, every time Uranus has gone into Gemini, the US has gone to war. And here we are. His attitude that this is going to be a 3-week war is amusing, because it's not. One of the things he did in his impulsiveness of feeling like, oh, this would be a good idea, I know what I could do next, and now he's like bored with that already and moving on to Cuba. The problem is the time he picks. I mean, I cast the charts for the time these people pick, and I'm thinking, where's Ronald Reagan's astrologer, Nancy Reagan's astrologer? They don't have any, which, thank God, they don't have anyone who knows what time to do these things, because let's pick a time where something isn't going to work out. Well, here's the chart.
He's good at that. That's what he does.
He is. Now, you will see all these planets over here on this side of the chart. This is about blaming, focusing it all on somebody else. Somebody else's problem, it's somebody else's fault. But the thing that really struck me was where the moon was, because the moon was in Cancer, which is uneven. I mean, it rules Cancer, but it's tidal. Things are up, things are down. It's always moving around. Doesn't hold still. It's shifting. But the moon is doing two things that are really important to never ever do when you're trying to start something. One is have it be void of course, which means nothing can happen, nothing can develop. It's like wasted energy. Things do happen, but they're not the things you plan. It's a void of course moon. If you go shopping on a void of course moon, you get a great shirt, bring it home, and it doesn't fit, or it has rips immediately, or the first time you wear it, you pour something indelible on it, and it's ruined. So then anything you buy, you might buy something else that you didn't intend to buy that will work great on that same day. But if you go with an intention at this time, and it varies, it's when the moon has made its last aspect in the sign before it goes into the new sign. There's a period of time, it can be minutes, it can be half a day. But if you do something in that time with an intention, that intention is not going to take you where you want it to. So I think that's one of the things here. Another thing it's doing is called out of bounds. When a moon is, I won't explain the math of what that is because it's a nuisance, but when a planet is out of bounds. It is ungoverned by any connections to, like, other people can't tell you what to do. You're not the boss of me, is what the planet says. Now this is combined with another cluster of planets that are all in a relationship that does not show up on the regular chart. This is longitude. If you look at the latitude, you see planets lining up and activating one another or tearing each other apart. And the moon is involved there with Pluto. This is a really bad move, this war, because it's going to break apart all kinds of things that were unexpected. We're just beginning to see it. It's not going to be done right away, and when we're going to come out of it really a lot weaker. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things one of my astrologer friends says to me, because she's a really good, comforting astrologer and tarot reader. People love her because she makes them feel better. I don't do that.
No, we need the truth.
Well,
We've been walking around like a bunch of idiots, going, "Oh, everything's great, everything's hunky dory."
well, that's Neptune. And and then Saturn comes down, and Saturn's the hammer. So it's like Neptune's the magic mirror and Saturn's the hammer. What do we think is going to happen? We're going to see it clearly, or we're going to have it broken up into all kinds of little bits, and there'll be more reflections of the situation than, I mean, look at the inundation of information we're getting. It's not like it's one picture anymore, and it doesn't matter how much the media thinks they can put one picture out there. They all say the same thing because there are leaks, there's independent media, there's all this stuff emerging. It's not going to hold the way it is. The fabric is tearing. It's a good thing.
Good.
It's a good thing. But it's a transition that is not easy. As you can see from gas prices this week. I don't know what they are where you are, but they went up 50 cents or something.
Oh, New York State gas prices are ridiculous anyway.
So he has an inability. This man, what ability does he have? I don't understand how people can like adore him. I don't get it. So I have the old style book to look at transits since my computer is down.
I feel like people adore him because they feel validated to bring out their own nastiness, their own anger, their own resentments. Instead of working them through like a fairly, whatever healthy is, but a fairly healthy human being, they get to act out.
Yeah, they have permission. It's kind of like in the old cultures where there'd be whichever night that was that they would designate that people could go out in the spring or in the fall and just go completely mental for the night. Only we're doing it for 10 years so far. All right, so Mars is a really important planet in this sense. Oh, there was something I saw about the military too that was interesting, and then I saw it, and then I saw it on the news about the military turning on him.
Good.
And you may have heard that there were a bunch of generals who wrote a letter saying, "This guy's mental. We're not following what he says." So that's falling apart, and I love that Christy Nome is gone. Not that the new guy's going to be better, but at least we won't have to look at him.
I don't see him lasting that long either.
Well, here's the other thing. Okay, Trump did this war just about the day Mercury went retrograde. And that's a boomerang. It's like, forget about it. When Mercury goes direct in like 10 more days, it's going to turn around, but it's not going to. People are saying, "Oh, the war will end when Mercury goes direct." No, it won't.
That's
It's
not
going
the
to
way
do
that
something
works.
else. It's going to
Yes.
do something else, and
Yeah,
we
that's
don't.
not the way that works because with the people forget you're going to get another 3 weeks of Mercury retrograde, if not more, energy.
Well, it's yeah, the shadow part,
Yeah.
but the whole thing of like when you start something on a retrograde Mercury, if you I've had so many people in my life go, "Oh, that's so ridiculous. That doesn't mean anything. That's just superstition." And then after they've hung out with me for a while and they're going, "Why is everything not working out?" And I go, "Mercury retrograde, enough times." And then they start calling and saying, "Is Mercury retrograde?" So, people are aware of it now. They know that it is an actual cycle. Mercury is the energy that takes us between worlds, and it's the guide who takes us when we die to the other side. Mercury brings messages from the other side to us. Mercury's a really important planet. It's not just about communication, it's communication between worlds. So when Mercury is retrograde, it's the time when Mercury is bringing the message back to us from the underworld, from the divine planes, the higher realms, because Mercury is hanging out there when it's retrograde, and it's bringing us information to remind us, to retool, to rethink, to whatever the verb is, our lives. And pushing forward from ego during that time doesn't work because that's not what the time is for. So he did that as well as the whole thing with the moon. No, so his Mercury is not in a happy place anyway. And he's got a lot going on now with his health. We've seen these heavy planets, the Saturn and the Neptune conjunction happens at a point in his chart which has to do with death, with change, with things coming out of nowhere, out of the darkness to surprise us, and that we generally don't have the preparation or tools to deal with. Eighth house, transformation house, values that are the collective values, other people's values. So all of these things coming to him and damaging him, being real problems and obstacles that he can't just whisk away with his Sharpie. So in talking about when he is going to be out of office, for example, start with an easy one. The more I looked at this, the more what I was getting, and I'd love to know what you feel about this course, is that I feel it's already out of office. He's like a cardboard cutout that they roll out.
That is what I get. And it's not because I feel like because I struggled for months because I would see videos that I knew were him. Okay. But at the same time, I'm being told that's not him from spirit. Spirit's telling me this. So I think because humans are black and white, we think, okay, he's either dead or he isn't. That's not the way that works. We're discovering how little we really know about what the universe is really about what we're really about as spiritual beings. And I always say that when we pass, we'll find out that most of us were wrong about pretty much everything. I can live with that, but I'm here to learn. And that's okay. But I feel like as far as him breathing, I feel like he is breathing, and I've got to stick with it that the small German guy with the funny mustache and the nasty attitude, his soul just walked right in there
Yeah.
because Rump'S soul to me said, "I'm all done.
Yeah.
I'm finished." But his original soul has got to give permission to uh the tiny German guy, his
Hmm.
soul. That it has to give permission because and why would Rum's soul give permission? Because we're not done yet.
Yeah. So that's why it's really important that we not hate him, because first of all, it's not him anymore. And we can hate what's happening. That's fair. But personalizing it is not helpful to us. Um, the thing about the message of the walk-ins, I had this experience. I'll make this story short. One night in his first term, I had this horrendous feeling of real evil, like a cloud. It was like a hungry searching, and it was all around my house. And I dispelled it, but I thought, I haven't seen an attack like that in a really long time. It was very weird. Next morning, I wake up, find out Charlie Manson had died during the night.
Mm,
And I thought that was his energy, and it was looking for some place to go. After that, within a couple of days, 3 days after that, Trump started to change a lot, become much more unpleasant. And I really felt like, I mean, talk about people with bad fashion choices about their hair being there, but also I don't think that it's one entity.
okay.
I think he's like a housing for them. It's like a hotel.
Well, see now the Manson thing that makes sense to me because he believed in this stuff. He believed that I feel like he believed he could possess somebody, that
Mm-hmm.
his soul could possess somebody because he was evil.
He was.
And to me, like a lower level Antichrist type, energy.
He also had been MK Ultra'd.
You know
Manson.
what?
He'd been part of the MK Ultra thing.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I mean that makes sense to me.
So yeah, so there's this thing of him being not there to hate. I mean, it's not like whoever he was, whoever he might have been, that's gone, and what we're looking at is a remnant and a shadow.
Well,
But
in hatred only, I mean, it can be used as a motivator, not as well as say anger, but
yeah,
hatred can be used as a motivator because anger is usually attached to it, but it's not sustainable.
right. And
You
it
know what I
doesn't
mean? And
create it.
and not for nothing, that's not showing love. That's not being loving.
Yeah.
I despise the things that whoever he is doing. I despise those things and I dislike him a great deal, but I've never said that I hate him because I know what he's here for.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the other thing about hate is that to hate someone, to hate a person, you really have to have a pretty close personal relationship with them. They have to have done you some real damage.
Yeah.
Um, it's the same as love, you know.
But hate,
That way.
isn't that what they do?
Yeah,
I don't want to be them.
right.
That's why I keep saying that people have to make a conscious decision when I'm feeling an emotion towards another human being. I really need to look at why I'm feeling that emotion. Usually it's because they hurt my feelings in some way. But and I dislike quite a few people, for the way they treat other people in my personal life. But I don't hate that person.
Well, that's a difference between a preference and a commitment. It's like there's a the other part of all of this is that um the Saturn and Neptune is Saturn going into Aries. It's really a call to radical discipline, because Aries is like on fire. I mean, when you go out in the spring and there's dandelions coming up through cement, you think, how is that possible? It's this force of life energy. It's really like, push it forward. We're going to do something new. And Aries people are like great at starting stuff and firing people up. And but Saturn is not about firing things up. It's about discipline. So it's like, get a vision, be disciplined, and follow it. And that's pretty much what we need to do. I mean, the people who are pushing forward Project 2025 are certainly disciplined in their vision. They've been doing it since the 70s. Somehow in the 70s, they got together and went, okay, we're going to turn this around and turn this into a Christian nation.
Oh, please. Listen, but I got to be honest. I feel a lot of chaos in that 2025 crap. I feel a lot of chaos there. It's falling apart.
It is. Well, because they are not aligned.
No, each one is out for themselves.
Yeah.
There's no communication in this government.
Nope.
Can I tell you my dream about Saturn?
Oh, please.
Okay, because it isn't Aquarius that was our original planet, which you know.
Yeah.
Now it's Uranus, which is fine too.
I
But
still
I've
use
always
Saturn.
been drawn, huh?
I still use Saturn.
Yeah, because I'm really drawn. I'm really drawn to Saturn. So I had this dream. I was very young. I was in my early 20s, and I had this dream, and this is the only dream, one of two dreams I remember. Okay, so I grew up on a hill, a literal hill that was just my family. Okay. And the garden was gone, and the houses were still there, but it's like everything got miniature. And the planet itself was so small that I could see the curve of it. But everything's green and the skies are blue, and Saturn was so close you could touch it. And then the aliens came, and I'm like, I should be scared out of my wits, but I kept expecting to be upset, but I wasn't. And I don't know what that dream meant, but I remember that dream. Saturn, so close you could touch it.
You were on one of Saturn's moons.
Possibly. Possibly. I believe that. It was so green. All green grass and blue skies. It was beautiful.
Hmm. Yeah, that would be interesting to see where Saturn is in your chart. Um, can I just, I'm not going to write it down. You don't want to put it on air, but if you'd email me your birth time and birth date and place,
Yeah.
and then I can, I would sort of like to just see where Saturn is in your chart and where it would have been in your early 20s, because that would have been telling you something about, um, you know, the cycle for you of new life.
Yeah.
You should look back and see what was going on at that time for you. I mean,
Yeah.
the
I,
great,
I, I know exactly what was going on for me.
okay.
I was busy doing those things I wasn't supposed to be doing so I could run away.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, well, nothing, the real change didn't happen until, I was 54. That's not true.
It starts earlier. Change
Yeah.
doesn't happen all overnight ever.
Yeah.
So,
I was I had a new life. I had just moved to this city I live in now.
yeah.
That was huge. Because growing up, I'd look around and go, oh my God, there's got to be something other than this. This is terrible. The gossip, the small town gossip, the incest, all that stuff that happened and I know it happens everywhere in a lot of places, but it seems to be concentrated in small towns. So I was like, there has to be something bigger, something better.
Hmm.
And I moved here. I hitchhiked up here. Got here in about 3 hours. I was young and good looking, so it didn't take much. But that was a big change. That was a
Uh-huh.
big change. It had happened a couple of years before the dream, but that was my big change. But I'll send you my birthday
Okay.
and the time I was born too. So
Well, yeah, so there's a thing happening also with the nodes for Donald Trump's chart, which that was the thing I wanted to check out where that gets to. The soon. Yeah. This is the thing I saw in June, or June or July was it here? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so in July, and something could happen sooner, like Mars could come in. Is Mars going to do something? It's Mars, Aries, Taurus. Yeah. Okay. So anytime from June into July, Mars is going to be triggering again this thing we just had with the Mars Uranus square. It's coming around again. Only this time it's going to be impacting the rising sign, which is your basic physical health body in the world. But then the South Node, which I talked about earlier, so I won't go into that whole thing about letting go. That is coming up to the ascendant of the Orange Menace, and that means letting go of the physical body in some way, whether it's like that he gives permission to this for this to end, or that he will experience, I'll predict, some kind of really distinct crisis at that time.
okay, so I pick up that he's really tired.
Yeah.
Like and he knows it.
Yeah.
And I just pick up like,
That's the Saturn Neptune in the eighth house.
yeah, I mean he's exhausted, and he's worried about if he's going to hell. That tells me something.
Yeah.
Because at some point I feel like he's going to say I deserve to go to hell, even though I don't believe in that. He's going to say, okay, I deserve to go to hell. There's nothing I can do about it on a spiritual level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely don't believe that there's any actual consciousness of this for him. He's too busy dealing with pain
Yeah.
to think about like.
Well, in there, he says, give me more of the narcotics.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately for the rest of the world, a lot of the narcotics comes in the form of hurting people. That's his narcotic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that anything that makes him feel that he's more powerful than he knows he is.
It's like I just get two pictures of him, an old man and a child.
Yeah.
That Gemini in
The
him.
guy saying, I want to be a good boy. I mean, can you imagine if Biden had said, I just want to be a good boy? I mean, they'd be like, what? Get him out.
They'd have crap canned him in 5 seconds,
I know.
please.
They did, and for much less. So, ugh.
Well, they do what they want. And
Yeah.
so what is your viewpoint on the rest of just in general, your thoughts, what you're picking up energetically on the rest of the regime falling when he's done?
Well, I know of groups that are doing work to do things like, send termites to the White House, make the floors slippery, um, stuff like that. Because the picture that I get is, like a couple of weeks ago, it was very clear, was that it's like he was sitting on a three-legged stool, and there needed to be termites sent to eat one of the legs of the stool. One of the legs of the stool was Christy Nome.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Miller is another one.
Yeah, and you know, but in
And
people, I don't think realize because we get sidetracked.
yeah,
I don't think people are remembering the type of, it's not power. I want to use the word power. It's his persuasion. How his mealy mouth little self is behind the scenes, in everybody's ear.
yes, but the problem is with his decisions, and this is not, news has been in the news plenty, is that he makes a decision based on who the last person he spoke to was. So whether it's Stephen Miller or anyone around him who has their agenda and is using him to sign the checks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's lost any type of persuasion or the power of persuasion against anybody. No one cares.
Well, this is elder abuse. I mean, it is elder abuse.
Yeah,
He
I agree with that.
should have been put in a bin a long time ago. But anyway, that's the the thing of of how it falls apart around him is what what I feel from looking at all of the charts of these people,
Hmm.
that it will, and it is crumbling. It is crumbling now. It will not last. They cannot win. They cannot take over. They cannot cohere enough to make anything happen. They have no standards other than what's in it for me. They have no vision other than how do I suppress everyone who isn't me. He surrounded himself with mini me's. What
Hmm.
does he expect? They're not going to carry on his legacy. His son is a cokehead. How long can he last? It's not, it doesn't, there's not enough money in the world to make this work. And that's kind of the lesson, I think, is that there isn't enough money in the world. If some Bezos or whoever they are, I mean, Bezos made the entire city of Venice a city of wonderful people who love tourists, hate him because he took the place over for his wedding. So there is not enough money in the world for these people to get what they want. It because money is a shadow also.
So listen, what I'm actually getting a picture of, and not because the US is the center of the universe, but I get a picture of the USA being the middle point. And there's all kinds of spider veins and webs and cracks leading to these other countries.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have
Because
all appliances that are,
right, everybody, it's all connected. It's all connected. And however we fall, the rest of the world that's pulling the same crap will fall as well.
yeah. When you were saying that, I had a picture of a windshield, um, where one rock hits it and all these lines go out, and then something else happens and the whole thing collapses, and you hope you're not driving when it does. But you know that yes, we are that. Well, that is the truth, is that we are all connected. We are globally connected in an actual way, not just energetically, but through everything that has been built for the last 150 years, and that's over. One of the things that I wondered about, and I'm seeing kind of happening around the edges, is are we going to becoming autonomous regions? Because there's like 14 states that are making deals with Canada, trade deals with Canada, independent of the federal government. That's a start.
Oh, do you know how bad he wants to be done with state attorney generals? How bad he wants them to just go away.
Yeah,
But the states have the real power.
yeah, and
Well,
it's
I'm
not.
gonna look it up. I hope New York is making deals with Canada because we've never had an issue with Canada.
I think New York is one of the states that is, and
I'm
Vermont is, and New Hampshire is.
You know, on a good day, I can go up to Lake Ontario and see Canada
Yeah.
from the beach.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to have to swim there though.
Oh, geez. I don't do natural bodies of water. I'm good. They scare me. So, all right. So just real quick, can you go over the Iran
Oh yeah.
placement type thing?
Um, oh, here it's looking. So yeah, so the bombing of Iran in Iran's chart. Here's the chart. It's the same planets, but they're in different places. I mean, you remember in the U.S. chart, it's set up like that.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's a different part of the world, this was their experience. And what happens is all the pressure of the planets, the bulk of the planets are all sitting in a house which has to do with self-help. So in a way, this is, I mean, a horrible way because Pluto is involved. This boosts them. It puts them in a position where they're going, we have to get our shit together, people. So whoever does take over, I mean, you may have noticed Donald Trump is saying, I don't like that guy that they've picked, the son of the Ayatollah. I want a different. It's like this is not risk. This is not up to you. Anyway, so the third house is their connections to their neighbors. This is going to be very interesting to see what they do. They will be retooling the way they've handled women in their culture. That's going to change.
Yeah, I think they need to.
Well, yeah. Um, because they have Chiron and Eris, which has to do with feminine rage and an old wound that doesn't heal, that just keeps being a problem. And that's at the end of the matter for them. So the end of the matter, they've got to deal with their bizarre attitude, which is not scriptural in Islam, about women.
Yeah, it's that persecution wound, I
Yeah,
call it.
yeah, exactly. So the moon, which I was saying, the moon is not doing anybody any favors in this chart. In fact, it's completely rogue. And for them, it's in the eighth house. So I think that they are going, well, I think they have closed the Strait of Hormuz, but they've got so much power over the money that is collective, that is not just their money, but that's the people's money away from them, that the like other people's money.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be really big changes around that. And um, there's a way in which this does work out to their advantage. And there's also they come up with some new alliances, I think, with their neighbors, where they start working less as an isolated, Persian Empire. So the face of the Middle East being changed, that won't surprise me. And it's always been such a problem, but we are not in charge over there. And it's just it's kind of strikes from these charts, it strikes me as the height of misleading oneself to think that we are.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around in the government.
Yeah, I mean,
Thinking they're in charge of everyone.
Alexander the Great couldn't do anything. He broke his pick on Persia. What do they think is going to, the Russians brought down the USSR? One of the things, not the thing, but it would certainly helped. And it's just nobody's been able to go in there and do anything. Those people have long memories and they're really tough, and we're not.
No, are you kidding me? I want you to look at this really, or give me your thoughts on this real quick. But if that war comes over here, the suicide rate in the United States will skyrocket.
Well, it will, but also there's that was the thing I was seeing, that and I think I alluded to this before about the generals. There's going to be there's possibly going to be some real civil unrest and splitting within the military. That's not something that's going to hold that stuff. The whole thing of like trying to make it into a Christian army, onward Christian soldiers,
Give me a break.
or people who actually like wanted to do some civic work in preparation for maybe a political career. There's going to be a split between the thinkers and the blind followers.
Well,
But
to me, the generals would know how bad of an idea this was.
yeah, so
Yeah, heavy burden, heavy load.
yeah, too much to carry. Badly organized load. Um, so I feel as though whatever the intention was, whatever excuses were being fed about why this war was a good idea or isn't a war or whatever it is, it really feels to me like it's going to go in a direction that nobody expects, and it's going to be surprising, and it's probably going to come up by May, if not.
Do you see boots on the ground here?
I don't. I think it's a possibility, but I don't think so. I think that we're I'll quote somebody else on this. Susan Lynn said we're too big.
Okay.
I think that was the problem with the revolution, is that the Brits came in and the locals were fighting in out of uniform and hiding behind stone walls. I don't think that it would work, where it would be too much like herding cats, that this country.
Well, there's some information going on, around out there about, well, he doesn't have enough weapons. Yeah, he does. We think about, it's just the United States. This is the only place the US has weapons. I beg to differ.
They can screw us up so much better messing with the cyber interface.
Now that's a real possibility that actually came up in a reading. So that the cyber, they're going to try,
Mm-hmm.
because I know they're good at that, but we're good at it too.
Yeah, but that is more. First of all, it's way cheaper
Right.
for anybody who's got the bank of 12-year-olds to mess with people's computers. It's 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 more efficient. They don't need to send people over and have them blown away and go home and then have to deal with that. And what would be the point? There wouldn't really be one. It's not like they don't want to take us over. They want us to go the hell away.
Right. Well, I like that they stood up for themselves and said, no, we're not going to make any deals with you, Rump Roast.
Yeah,
I like it,
yeah,
because you left a vacuum in our system,
yeah.
which their system needs to fall too. But listen, and I don't want to freak anybody out. So there is a very real possibility of a cyber attack. That's nothing but another system.
Mm-hmm.
All the systems fall so they could be built back up.
Yeah.
All of them. And as much as it would hurt me in so many ways not to have internet access or electricity, I would totally understand that. I would understand that that's what this is for.
Well, and if I guess it's hard for me to conceptualize exactly how any of this plays, and this is where we can scare ourselves and each other with, oh my God, I've just been in my house without water for some reason for weeks, and I was hauling water and feeling like, okay, well, you used to live like this out here, so what's the complaining of it? other than it was easier in my 30s. But to create, to be part of the creating of the new way we're going means affirming that we're okay in this moment. It's like
Yeah, keep it in the present.
yeah, because we are not really ready for anything.
No. Now,
So
some of us who have lived extremely tumultuous and traumatic lives
yeah,
we'll be okay. And
yeah,
we're the ones who are going to have to be the middle, be the median, be the support for other people.
yeah. It's like, oh, your phone doesn't work. Oh, I'm so sorry. Too bad.
I listen, I lost my phone. Somebody stole my phone. I left it in a cart in a store and somebody held it hostage. And he goes, well, give me $100 and I'll give it back. I hung up. I'm like, whatever. No, I have a laptop, I have a desktop. It's really just not that freaking important.
Hmm.
Can actually make a phone call on my laptop.
Yes.
It's not that important. I mean, it's a kind of a comfort thing, that phone, and
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal. I'd get over it in about a day.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of that for a lot of us that the problem with a cyber attack would be the inability to communicate with other people other than in our community.
Yeah. Well, this is why I think I've talked to my cohort about this too, that we've had the discussion about when so often starting, when you're in your teens and the phone rings, you go, oh, I know who that is. Well, we can communicate with each other right now without all of that. And that is not something that can be hacked by any of the government systems. They can listen in on
Okay.
this all they want, but they cannot yet come up with a way to interfere with that stuff. The things of, somebody's dying and they call out your name and they're miles away and you hear them. Um, or somebody needs something and then somebody shows up randomly and hands it to you. I mean, this is the magic that we can enhance and use, and that we have to realize that supply is infinite, supply is always available, and if it is not coming forward, there is a reason, and it's not punishment.
Yeah, I don't believe in being punished.
It's changing the attitude.
Yeah, I don't believe in being tested either.
Right. Yeah, no, it isn't. We're it's not a test.
Well, it can't be a test because we chose this.
Yeah,
Whatever we're experiencing, we chose this.
yeah. So there's this, and coming from a rough background to get past the point of why would God let this happen, to, oh, this is what I was supposed to learn here. This is what I needed this for. This gave me tools that I couldn't have gotten any other way.
Right.
So in this process of becoming a new America, whether it's United States or whether it's like a bunch of autonomous regions or something else entirely, we are creating something new, and we're creating the tools to put it together as we go. And we're using each other and our connections with each other, not exploiting each other and overcharging each other, but you know,
Listen, not for nothing, I got to live with myself. So I don't, and it's not because I'm wonderful. It was just been one of my things is like, I, I did spend a lot of my years taking more than from people than I really needed.
mhm.
Okay. Because for whatever reason, usually it was a mental health issue. But, when I put my big girl panties on and decided to grow up and be an adult, I discovered that I need a lot less than I thought I did. And that again, I got to live with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You can look at some people and um feel like they are their own punishment. You know, like just having to live inside that head, that must be uncomfortable. So
Yeah, I've said that several times about rump roast. I would not even, nope, nope. I'm not interested in wading through the green goo.
right. And I mean I doubt he has a gratitude practice or, you know, a vision board or anything like that.
No,
There
he
oh
has the chart of how wonderful I am.
yeah. And oh wait, isn't it time for everybody to come in and tell me how I'm so awesome? Oh, it's my favorite part of the day.
Oh,
Um,
I love to watch him when he's making like if I can stomach it that day. I'll sometimes watch him make a speech and he'll turn around and try and get validation from the people around him.
that he's paid to be there. It's pretty sad, but and it's sad that it's not visible enough to the people who are worshiping him. But anyway, that's not my problem. I'm not.
That's all right, because I feel like there's way more of us that aren't.
Yeah,
Because my calculation that I'm given is about 12% of America worships
yeah,
him.
yeah, and they're just very loud.
That's what I said. They're not more of them. They just yell louder.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's probably, you know, all the same stuff. It's certainly a lot of the same things you say. Is that when when despair comes in, when depression comes in, when despondence or hopelessness or any of those feelings creep in, it is important to realize that um, those are not an illusion. They're coming out of an illusory place. It's not an eternal value, any of those things, because as John Lennon said, everything works out all right in the end. If it's not working out all right, it's not the end.
I had a wave, and I talked about this in a live, but I had a wave of depression. Literally, I visualized a wave when it just went right over me. And now that we're talking about it, I'm like, was that even mine?
That's one of the problems, isn't it?
Yeah, I had in because it just hit me. I don't think that was even mine. I have nothing to be depressed about.
Yeah. And so this is the collective, and in my work I'll get calls from people who are saying, what do I do about this, and what is this transit, what's going on? And I'm saying what's happening is you are reacting to a global energy. It's like, don't feed the monster. And the monster is that wave. That it doesn't have to be, you get a surfboard. um we can notice that there is a period of time where people are frustrated, where they're freaking out, where they're um, despondent, but we don't have to get in there with them. That's what
Yeah,
the lighthouse is.
I did pull a drama queen yesterday. I mean, it was a real thing. It was a real feeling, but I'm putting my top on to do a video. I'm in my bedroom, and it hits me. There's certain things that I go through on a daily basis. It's getting better, but on the days that I'm going through the specific uh, mental health thing, sort of, I guess you'd call it, my drama queen self says, I'm living in hell. Because it is, it feels like hell. Hell is here,
Hmm.
right? Because it was here, that being stuck in my head all day, right? Now
Hmm.
I got up this morning and I was motivated. I didn't even remember what for until my alarm went off saying that we had something to do today. Because my I thought it was Sunday, honestly.
Yeah.
But I had to pull myself out of that. And I spent most of the day after the members only live and making a couple of more videos, I spent most of the day feeling really crappy emotionally. And but I understood that yeah, I have to allow myself to feel those things, but I don't have to be inundated by them.
Yeah, well, and there's a difference between feeling them and noticing them. Is like from what I think of as witness consciousness. It's like stand back in your higher self, stand back in my higher self and go, oh, she's freaking out. But um it's sometimes it's not, and this is the reaction of trauma, that it's not an easy skill to learn, but it's a necessary skill to learn, to not identify with the things that go by, and you can enjoy the good ones but still don't identify with them either. It's not, none of it makes who you are. Who you are is beyond all of that. And
Right.
who I am is beyond all that. Who we all are. And the more we're able to see that, yes, I'm still going to get bullshit that I can't find my car keys and I'm an hour late, or something, or I've gotten a diagnosis that I don't want to have to pay for. Any of for the spectrum of things, they're not who we are, and they're not what we're trying to create.
Right. And for me, I speak out about that to myself because I will verbally out loud say, I am not living like this for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the truth is I'm very comfortable with it. I might have 20 years left on the planet. If I'm okay with that, but I refuse to spend the rest of those 20 years depressed, angry, pissed off.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm further along on the timeline than you are, and I feel that there are times when I start to get really upset about something, sometimes with my family, and I say, wait a minute, what if this was the last time?
Right.
What if when you get in the car, and go home, that's the last time you saw them, you were mad because they said something that hurt your feelings, or no, that's it. All of that stuff is not, it's part of what we're doing here. It's not who we are.
Right. And my thought is, what what examples am I going to leave for my kids, my grandkids? What memories are they going to have of me? Now, if they choose to keep the bad ones, that's their crap. I I can't do anything about that. I've made my amends over and over. I'm done,
Yeah.
not groveling. But what am I leaving to them that maybe someday they can say, hey, mom pulled herself out of a really crappy situation that she put herself into,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, that's a nice thing about having had a child, was that it really struck me that, oh, she's going to be watching everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's over, the things that everybody's annoyed about are so fleeting.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
Even this,
Yeah.
the good
I was
stuff and the bad stuff.
I was thinking the other day about my obsession of waking up and looking for an obituary in the morning, and I thought, all right, you know, someday, someday you're gonna see that. So it's not today. Someday you're gonna see that.
And it will be totally unexpected because not for nothing, somebody goes, oh, they died suddenly. Hello, everybody dies suddenly.
Well, yeah, and that then there will be something else to deal with, because there always is. Or, we'd just be able to sit on a cloud and click.
Right. I mean, we just switch up what we worry about.
Yeah,
Okay, so he goes. Take my word for it, we'll be worrying about some other crap after that.
yeah.
We might get 5 minutes of a deep breath, and then after that, the crap's going to keep hitting the fan.
Well, people, this is one thing that also is helpful for me to keep in mind, is that a lot of money is made by keeping us frightened and worried and unhappy with something or
I
hair.
I see it on YouTube with these doom and gloom videos.
Yeah,
And I want to just shake people. Why are you clicking on that crap?
yeah. Well, because it's first chakra energy. It's the stuff of, how do I ensure my safety? And um So if somebody's scaring you, then somebody's making money.
Right. So listen, this is the way I feel. I don't need to listen to the news. And I've always said this. The only time I ever watched the news was during Biden's campaign. As soon as I heard the news he won, which I obviously knew I am, psychic. But I turned the TV off and I never did it again.
Yeah.
We hear what we need to hear from other doom and gloomers
Mm-hmm.
or people who can actually follow the news without falling into a huge emotional pit of blackness. I can't do it. But we always hear what we need to hear. We don't need to doom scroll. It isn't necessary.
No, it is not, because it's repetitious and it's like repeating a lie.
And yes, and that includes the misleading independent news people with their misleading titles. That includes the people that are this big thing that's just sprouted up almost overnight, where we're going to show you crap from 2022 and make it sound like it's happening now.
Right. Well, and even the things that they're very important. It's very important that it gets out, the information that it gets out. I'm not going to click on any of it. I don't want to. Okay, I know. First of all, before any of this came out, I had seen what was in the Epstein files because I'm psychic. So, to people, you don't understand what these people have been doing. They're going, "Oh, you're so negative. Oh my God, you're so dark." All right, well, but I was right. I don't need to keep looking at it now. I mean, I knew it. There it is. Okay, so now it's the turn of people who didn't look into the energy.
Listen, I tried to read some of the files, and it's like this is stuff I've already heard. And
Yep.
I did it to, bring accurate informational news to the channel.
Yeah.
But I got to remind myself, I'm not a newscaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a tarot reader and a psychic. That's what I do.
Yeah. Well, and I like the way you remind your audiences, saying, "I'm just reading the energy. This is not my opinion. Do not come at me with this."
Just saying,
Yeah.
you
Uh,
know, not necessary. And take that negative crap somewhere else, please.
yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well,
Well,
my
this was
goodness.
fun.
It was fun. It always is. It always is. Thank you so much. How would you feel about doing this on the regular?
That'd be good.
Once a month, maybe?
Sure. Yeah. I
That'd
could
be
do that.
fantastic.
What I could do is which and uh my my Facebook page, which has been dormant. I don't have an excuse. I stopped.
Sounds like my Substack.
I just Substack. It's not worth it. But anyway, I will, if since you're directing people to go look at it, I will post something on there once a week, a sort of a weekly thing,
Yeah.
talk. But uh, in terms of doing it once a month, that would be really cool. I could look at whatever. I could look at a specific thing that you want, but also I could just look at what the moon's doing or something simple.
Yeah. Something simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't need to go through
Don't need to look at this with the
six
orange,
different planetary alignments.
right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, they're pretty exciting what they're doing. I mean, it's just they're out there tearing up the skies.
Yeah, they're doing a lot. So when is that? What month is that where the seven line up, six or seven line up?
Happening now.
That's what I thought.
But it's not just now, because the thing is that first we had everything in Capricorn, then everything was in Aquarius. Now everything's in Pisces. And then they're all like, they're moving as a group, like teenagers on a binge. So it's right now it's in Pisces, which I guess you said you had a Virgo rising sign.
I have a Virgo rising and a Pisces moon.
Okay, so this is all impacting you. And it I mean everybody who comes across my path, one thing astrologers will tell you is that when they're having a transit, all of a sudden everybody who's having that same transit shows up for readings. It's it's really funny. It's like, when you're doing tarot, it's like, oh, we got the tower again. This is the fourth person this week. It's um we're all connected through these trends. And some of us resonate like a clearer sound to them, and some of us are working on it. And we all need to be, I think we all need to be tuning our energy to receive what is being told to us, what is being given to us. And when I first got into astrology when I was 16, it was to look for something that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a couple of years in, I thought, oh, this just is a weather report, which is what it is. But it also, the purpose of it is so that you don't need it. It's to get people to a point where they trust their voice. They hear it, they trust it. And I think one of the reasons a lot of women are more into all of this than most men is because men are raised to believe in themselves. Women are not. We have to learn to get
Yeah.
to that, knowing
Yeah.
who we are, where we're from.
I have one real wish for my daughters is that they learn who they are way before I did. But
Yeah.
they think I'm nuts. So that's
all right. They'll get over that. My
sooner
daughter.
or later. That's all good. I'm
Yeah,
gonna keep
that's
telling
the
them what I
daughter-
tell them.
Yeah, it's the daughter-mother thing. They have to break away and say, "You're crazy. I don't want to be like you." And then one day they wake up in their 50s and go, "Oh God, I'm just like my mom."
Yes, I've already noticed in both of my daughters that they are very much like their mother.
It's a good.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. I won't keep you any longer.
Well, thank you. And I enjoyed this, and I will enjoy it again next time. Just let me know when you want to set up a once a month, the next month thing, and I'll make myself available.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye.